Hello, YouTube and Bond fans and gamers. Holy cow. I knew this was coming today. I saw it. I watched the gameplay trailer again with my wife, the full 30 minutes and the walkthrough and everything, and then I watched the 2-minute trailer. Bond is back. That's literally the best way to describe it. Oh my god. I'm on cloud nine. The release date, first and foremost, the biggest news is obviously March 27th, is 2026 is when we're getting the game, which does have me a little concerned about my First Light Fitness Challenge, but we can talk about that on Saturday. This is not for that. This is not the video for that. This video is to talk about the gameplay trailer and the actual trailer. First and foremost, in the second trailer for the game, we finally have Patrick Gibson saying the famous line, Bond, James Bond. He does a great job. Very happy with that. But let's talk about the footage from the, I believe it's Switzerland mission. First and foremost, the driving levels look, there's three driving parts to the level. You're driving, the Jaguar, sort of like, what I call Sunday driving, just kind of quietly driving through. I think you get to control the car at that point. As Bond and two agents that he's escorting to this chess match in Switzerland are there. And then, of course, Bond parks the car, which I made the quip to my wife. The first objective in the level is to park a car. Wow, very exciting stuff. But after you park the car, Bond notices this bellhop doing some strange stuff, and so he has to follow him. And it's really interesting because Bond is 100% Bond. The way that, because, in the films, M's always telling him to do X, Y, and Z, and Bond's like, yeah, I'll do that, and then does what Bond wants to do. And he does that in the game here, too, where M's like, no, stay in the parking lot. We can't have 009 disappear. And Bond's like, yeah, I'm staying in the parking lot. And immediately goes to the hotel. Few things that I notice about this that I love, you get to pick dialogue, how you want to talk with characters and whatnot. Very much like a Telltale game, which is really exciting for me because that gives A, multiple playthroughs, and B, you get the option of figuring out what's the best approach. I love the way that the animation has Bond. The way that the person playing the thing, because there's no dialogue or anything while the playthrough goes through, because they wanted to really showcase the playthrough, which was awesome. So I saw a couple of people complaining about frames per second. I didn't notice anything. Maybe I'm blind, I don't know. It looked amazing to me. Anyway, so you have Bond going, the guard's like, you need a pass, and Bond's like, okay, I'll go to my car and get one, which obviously he doesn't have one. So he goes and sneaks around this one guard. And what's interesting, unlike Hitman, it doesn't look like you can wear disguises. It looks like this is traditional Splinter Cell stealth of you're in your outfit and that's it. And if they catch you, they catch you, which is really cool. So then you get, there's this like flower bed that you kind of sneak through, and then you have to go and get the a lighter to then go and light this wheelbarrow of leaves on fire to distract. But the way Bond does it, so like slick and amazing. And then Bond sneaks in, and it's great when he goes through the window, because the butlers and maids are all like surprised, and Bond's like, oh, I'm a infiltration expert. Your boss should have warned you about me, but I'm just making sure that this place is secure. And they're like, oh, great to have you on the team. Again, love that Bond bluffs his way through things. And you can talk. Then sneaking around. Then you see one of the 00 agents, because every 00 agent is in this facility to try and find this former 009, who's the main villain of the piece. And Bond's like, well, I need a case before I go and see this person. So you have to sneak around your own agents, kind of thing, your own colleagues, to be able to get into this intrigue. And then you talk to the bartender. You have different options to talk with him, different dialogue. And finally, then the screen says inevitably, and we get into the first chase scene. Now, the way that the car mechanics look, it looks like, and I'm going to mispronounce this, but I believe one of the great driving games people are talking about is Forza Horizon, which is a racing game that I think it's at the 5th or 6th one. And that's what it looks like. It looks like an amazing racing game. The way that you can play Bond, but of course it's classic Bond. So he's driving through, farm stands. He's driving through fields. He's doing everything it takes to cut corners to get to 009. Of course, then, you see 009's car abandoned. One of the things I love is in the Aston Martin, he breaks in and there's this mysterious French agent, Miss Roth, and she goes into the passenger side and she's like, "Are you looking for the keys?" And then Bond smugly hot wires the car in front of her, saying basically he didn't need the keys at all. It was such a good moment of the gameplay trailer. Then you get Bond driving through the the mountains, and there's this great chase sequence that is absolutely incredible. And then you get Bond basically going through, and you get to the airfield, and basically Bond, it goes straight action. Like you're shooting guards, you're killing guards. Now, one of the things that they say later on when they're going through the thing is that the moments that you can actually kill people, you will get something that says "License to Kill" pop up. That's when you know it's an action sequence. Otherwise, I think it's nonviolent means only, which is kind of interesting. I like that. I like that you have to do different approaches and you can't just go guns a-blazing. You have to use stealth. You have to use spy techniques. You have to do eavesdropping. You have to do conversations. You have to do these things. It's not just, which was one of the problems with the Activision James Bond games, which was very much shoot, 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 shoot. That's it. IO Interactive is doing complete opposite. There's going to be a lot of levels where you have to be stealthily. You have to be a conversationalist. You have to figure out these things and bluff your way through certain situations. So, and the fighting in both that and later on when they go through the gameplay and actually talk about it looks very similar to Arkham, which I'm very excited about. The Batman Arkham games. I mean, like, you can take on multiple people and you have environmental takedowns and whatnot they're talking about. And I'm like, this is all Batman Arkham, which is one of the best fighting mechanics in an action game, period. So I'm already talking about how the driving levels look like one of the best driving games ever. And the action sequence, the fighting sequences look like one of the best fighting sequences ever. The shootouts look amazing. I was very afraid when Hitman developers got Bond because Hitman's not good with shooting people. You're Hitman obviously, but like if you try to do a shootout in any of the Hitman games, you are going to die very quickly because the mechanics just aren't working for that. Bond, on the other hand, what it looks like is like the mechanics, they've completely redesigned it, which is fantastic. Cannot stress it enough how amazing this looks. If you haven't seen the gameplay trailer or the gameplay footage, go and watch. Trust me on this one. But yeah, like I said, it's just incredible. So then you get through the air thing. You're driving a truck to get to the airplane. You get on the airplane. Now, Q's Gadget has a special thing where you can control the plane, which is insane. So you have this moment where it's like you're controlling a plane, trying to get all these people out. Finally, you get to the fuselage, and of course, or the cockpit of the plane, and of course, because this isn't, I'm guessing this is one of the earlier levels, 009 does get away, but he kicks you basically out of the plane, and you have no parachute. So now, much like Moonraker, you've got to fly down to find somebody who already jumped with a parachute, knock them out, and take their parachute. Again, the mechanics of the free fall remind me of Everything or Nothing, which was one of the better Bond games that most people don't talk about. It also reminds me a lot of Moonraker, one of the best sequences in Moonraker. Like, this is incredible. Even my wife, who again doesn't like games, she likes Bond, but not as much as me. She even said the mechanics look amazing and everything looks incredible. So that's pretty much the gameplay footage. The actual game, then you see Patrick Gibson. He says he's so excited to announce he's playing James Bond. He announces the cast. And the characters, who we have as M, Q, Moneypenny, and of course, Miss Roth, the French agent, who he calls the duplicitous Miss Roth, which is interesting. I hope we're not getting another Vesper Lynd situation where she's like, I'm with you all the way, and then at the end she's like, I'm really a bad guy. It's like, no. We've had way too many Bond games where the main Bond girl, it winds up being, the villain. So hopefully that's not going to happen, but there talks about, like, possibly one of them being a traitor. So, but then we get the actual gameplay footage. the gameplay trailer, again showing off Bond having to go and take out somebody in, I want to say it's in England. But yes, then we get the famous Bond James Bond line. Overall, it's just amazing. I could gush about this for another 10 minutes, but I know that this is getting into a long video. But oh my God, March 27th cannot come fast enough. This is, I've said this multiple times, and people look at me and say, you're joking. There's no way. No one cares about Bond games anymore. I'm saying this on this channel right here, right now. First Light is going to be Game of the Year 2026, period. That's it. There is no maybe in my mind. My gut says this will be Game of the Year. This is the game to beat. And everyone's like, well, Grand Theft Auto 6. No. Grand Theft Auto 6 should be shaking its boots. That's how good this game looks. Anyways, until Saturday, where I have to tell you how I'm terrified that I have to lose 12% body fat in 6 months. Until next time, I hope you believe in me. I believe in you, and have yourselves a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.